Dane, I don't know if you know about Audis. I know you know about BMWs, but Audi is in trouble. I don't know what we're going to do with them. I have no idea how to help Audi. Maybe you got some ideas, but
Never, no, probably not. And Audi, before we even go into the article, they're probably okay, right? They're part of the Volkswagen Group, and the Volkswagen Group owns half of the automotive industry, whether
yeah,
it's manufacturers or just their automakers inside of that group. A small dip in sales isn't going to hurt them. But let's
let's
continue.
see. Let's see. They're saying Audi, and this is an article from Car Scoops if you want to check out the whole thing, but Audi is struggling with declining sales and profits, impacting its overall market performance. While it blames a challenging market and competitive conditions, deeper issues stem from an aging lineup. They're saying there are some new models on the horizon, but these problems won't be fixed overnight. Their sales are down, their EVs are struggling, and they're saying they're saddled with an aging and uninspired lineup. They
Mhm.
are, let's see, dealers were only able to move about 140,000 vehicles in the US, and that's in the first 9 months of this year. They're down about almost 17% from last year. Their Chinese sales are down 8.5%. European sales are down almost 10%. And they want to cut their workforce by 15%. And that is thousands of jobs. This is not good. A 15% reduction in a workforce is never a good thing. If you are working at Audi, I would get my resume ready if I were you.
Mhm.
They will lay off anybody, no matter if you are good at your job or not.
Mhm.
They're saying their bread and butter models are old and outdated. This is not good. Let's look.
Mhm.
Dane, what do you think? It seems like I
Got
really
a
don't
couple cars that are
understand.
really exciting. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't understand Audis at all. I don't understand why people buy Audis. I understand why people buy BMWs. I understand Mercedes. I
Mhm.
don't get Audi. I've never seen an Audi. Well, other than some of the sports cars that look cool. The
Yeah,
regular cars, they just look so boring to me.
yeah. So Audi is to Volkswagen like Lexus is to Toyota. For those that aren't familiar with Audi, I guess the most part.
Yeah.
And there are some Audi models that you can't, or features on Audis that you can't get with Volkswagens. So one of the cars that I do not think they're struggling with is the RS3. So it's got a very high performance engine. It's literally half of the Lamborghini engine. So the Lamborghini engine's a V10. The Audi RS3's got an inline five. That thing's capable of making well over 1,000 horsepower on the stock end, on the stock bottom end. So like cars like that are doing okay. Everything else is just a Volkswagen Jetta or Passat or what have you with nicer interior.
They look at this. This doesn't look that great.
Yeah, they're just
Maybe that's some of the appeal for Audis, like that they don't look, um, as it looks like you're rich, but you're trying not to draw attention to yourself. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, they're a toned down luxury sedan, essentially. Um, yeah, and sedan sales in general are just down across the whole industry, and EV sales are down across the whole industry too. So, I'm not really surprised here. If they made more of a move towards SUVs in the American market, they'd probably do a little better. But I think Europeans are still buying a fair amount of sedans. But yeah, some small shifts in models like this stuff is probably
They're
okay.
not.
But man, they're
They're not.
expensive.
They're not buying these.
No, no. These things are expensive too. The economy's hurting a little bit. I mean, we'll see what happens in the new economy coming up here in the next year once office changes a little bit. But yeah, that's my only advice for these guys.
Dane,
Hmm.
do you think that maybe rich people have changed and they're being more accepting of looking cool than they used to be?
It kind of depends. It's like kind of when you first get money, you want to buy stuff to kind of show that you have it, but then you don't
Yeah.
actually have it because you just spent it on stuff. And then
Yeah.
once you had money for a while, you're like, I don't need to prove anything to anybody. So you just keep building, and then all of a sudden you have a ton of money in your pocket. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
So
I
there's
understand
probably,
that.
with the economy tanking, and not doing so hot in the last few years, there's just less people that are willing to show off. I think is
Yeah.
maybe another symptom if that's what you're leading into.
Yeah, maybe they're I don't know. Let's see what the comments have to say.
Hmm.
Maybe they understand Audis.
This is where the truth is at.
The truth is in the comments. This
Hmm.
guy says, one thing's for sure, they can't keep jacking up prices and expect sales to increase.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
100%
that
right.
makes right. This guy says they need to stop the EVing first. So they're saying that their EVs are bleeding money from the company because nobody's buying their EVs. That
Agree. That goes for every manufacturer. They're dumping a ton of money into research and development and engineering costs into these EVs, and they're not seeing a return. So it just kills sales for everything. Makes them have to raise prices somewhere else to try and compensate.
Yeah, I agree with that. This
Hmm.
this guy says I'd put an end to the jelly bean SUVs. The Q3 and 5 are the worst offenders. The Q7 needs a sportier look as well. The Q8 does this well. The
Hmm.
sedans would ideally get proper rear-wheel drive platforms. The designs aren't bad. They would look so much better with the front wheels moved further forward. Lastly, scrap the old and new interior designs. The new ones look like they came from a Chevy Trax.
Oh,
Hey, what's
a
wrong with a
deep,
Chevy Trax, Ryan?
that's a deep burn, but I mostly agree. Hmm.
This guy says, return to the clean, honest, understated designs of yore. So, yeah, they're understated.
Hmm.
Some people think the current designs are bland, but I find them busy and a bit gimmicky. The superfluous design elements are and ever expanding grills are tiring. Leave the look at me designs to BMW. Stop trying to appeal to the Chinese market. That ship has sailed. Okay. So this guy wants them to look less interesting.
Hmm.
But how do you have a difference between bland and understated? Like to me, they are bland and understated.
Yeah, I think he likes a specific year range, and that's kind of what he hopes to have back.
Yeah.
A reason for the big grill openings is, a lot of these cars are turbocharged now
Oh,
or
okay.
needing to make more horsepower. So they need extra cooling. So to get more cooling, you need more airflow. And to get more airflow, something's got to change on the front end, right? You can't have them completely closed off.
I heard
Uh,
they did that because people in China like giant grills.
really?
Because they always had turbos, right?
Not all of them, but yeah, they've had turbos on a lot of the early ones, but they were never standard really. There's a lot of them that come standard now with turbo engines, but they're smaller displacement turbo engines. They're still an economy car, but not a high
Oh,
horsepower setup.
oh no. Let's see. This is the Audi website,
Yep.
and these are some of the Audis that are for sale. They got one, two, three, four. They got four electric cars at least,
Yeah,
and
no thanks.
nobody's buying any of them
Nope.
apparently. See, this is a shame. I feel bad, even though I don't really like Audi. I feel bad that they get forced into making EVs that nobody buys, and then they have to lose a bunch of money and lay off a bunch of people. Where they wouldn't have done that if they hadn't been forced. And you know what? I think if they do need to be bailed out, them or any automaker, then
Hmm.
they need to get bailed out because it wasn't even their idea to make all these electric cars.
Right. Yeah, they got forced into doing something that they didn't want to do, but
So they have a A8 and a S8.
hmm yeah, so
This
the S would be a
this
little
looks
bit
like
higher performance lineup.
the most boring car I ever saw in my life.
Yeah, this is a luxury sedan.
This is their top performer, huh?
Yeah, this is like their executive luxury sedan. You get driven in this car. You don't drive this car.
Oh,
You put your driver up there. You sit in the back, take care of business.
excuse me, Mr. Millionaire.
Yeah,
I
billionaire.
mean, billionaire.
Hmm.
I can't even imagine having $1 billion. I don't know what I would even do with that much money.
I'd have $1 billion worth of stuff. That's for sure. I wouldn't have a single dollar of it. I would spend it
You-
very irresponsibly.
so, Dane, if you had $1 billion, which luxury car would you get between Audi, BMW, or Mercedes? Let's say they're top of the line sedan.
Oh boy, I don't know. I don't
Would you
know.
get a S class? Would you get the 7 Series BMW or this Audi S8?
I'd probably get the BMW, but the Audi would be a really close second.
What, the one we just saw?
Yeah, I really like that car actually.
Why?
It's just a
What do you
nice
like
car.
about it?
Yeah, I got a friend with a smaller 5, but
Yeah.
similar drivetrain, and it's a fast car, and it's very comfortable. Um, they're nice cars. They're just very expensive.
You like them more than a S class?
Dude, that's such a hard one. You really, and here's the thing, right? You can't go wrong with any 3 of those cars. They're all incredible cars. They're just all very expensive. So I'm kind of going off of the one that I like the way it looks more.
Yeah.
And I'd say the S class, I don't necessarily like the way it looks as much as I do the BMW or the S8, but y- none of them are bad. They're all good cars. They're just going to cost you a fortune.
Oh man. But you have to pick one. You'd pick the Audi.
All right, I'll go with the BMW just
So
because I've got a
you'd pick
handful of
the
BMWs already.
I'd probably get the Mercedes.
Really,
Man, I've always liked Mercedes, man.
that's too. I like AMGs. I just never owned one.
That S class is so comfortable.
Yeah,
But the
speaking of
BMW has that giant screen that comes down, but I don't know. What if you get in an accident and that screen goes flying in the car?
whatever, probably got bigger things to worry about if the screen goes flying.
I'm always worried about what'll happen in the accident.